A new phase of the war between the US and Iran has begun in the Middle East. President Trump stated the day before that starting Monday, the United States Navy began assisting foreign ships in passing through the Strait of Hormuz. And he warned that if Iran tries to disrupt this process, the American military will use force. But Iran is already disrupting these attempts. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran attacked an American warship with missiles and has resumed attacks on the United Arab Emirates. As a result, experts are confident that Trump is tired of the deadlock in Iran, and his decision to go all in is quite understandable. But the operation he ordered in the Strait of Hormuz to change this situation could ultimately lead to a new war. That's what's terrifying. We will analyze this threat in this episode. My name is Alexei Pechi. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start this episode, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, like the episode, and leave any comment under this video. Now let's begin. So, the United States of America has launched a new military operation against Iran. President Trump announced that starting Monday, the U.S. Armed Forces began an operation to open the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Navy ships. They have started escorting foreign ships through the Strait of Hormuz. And Trump warned that if Iran tries to disrupt this process, the American military will definitely use force. This move, which Trump called Project Freedom, is the most significant step his administration has taken in an attempt to reopen the key strait since Iran closed it at the beginning of the war. And although Donald Trump claims that this move is purely humanitarian, it is a clear challenge by the US to Tehran's attempts to control the strait. A military response from Iran could provoke a confrontation or even an escalation of the war. And now, here are the latest news updates. An American warship attempting to pass through the Hormuz Strait was fired upon by Iranian forces near the port of Jask. This was reported on Monday by the Iranian news agency Fars, citing local sources. At the same time, if you don't trust Fars, a senior official in Tehran told Reuters that Iranian forces fired a warning shot at the U.S. ship to prevent it from entering the strait. But it is unclear whether any damage was caused. At the same time, the U.S. Central Command denied the report that the American ship was hit by missiles, although they did not deny the attack itself. Iranian state television reported that the Iranian Navy prevented U.S. warships from entering the Strait of Hormuz area. The Tasnim agency reported a statement from an unnamed official source that Tehran is ready not only to open fire on the U.S. Navy, but also to activate other scenarios if necessary. This means attacking neighboring countries again. It is also reported here that Tehran had previously warned American ships not to try to enter the Strait of Hormuz. In addition, the head of Iran's Joint Command Ali Abdullahi stated, quote, "We have repeatedly said that the security of the Strait of Hormuz is in our hands, and that the safe passage of ships must be coordinated with our armed forces. We warn that any foreign military, especially the aggressive U.S. Army, will be attacked if they attempt to approach and enter the area." And at this point, the U.S. Army Central Command stated that the new initiative in the Hormuz Strait will not necessarily involve escorting commercial vessels with U.S. Navy ships. One of the officials stated that U.S. Navy ships will be in close proximity in case they need to prevent an attack by Iranian forces on commercial vessels passing through the strait. And Donald Trump himself has already rushed to state that this is not an escalation of war, it's simply a humanitarian project. Next is a quote from the American president. "The movement of the ships is intended only to free people, companies, and countries that have done absolutely nothing wrong. They have become victims of circumstances." This is a humanitarian gesture from the United States, Middle Eastern countries, and above all, Iran. We assured these countries that we would direct them here to a safe place so that they could continue their activities freely and without hindrance. If there is any interference in this humanitarian process, then unfortunately we will have to respond to that interference. And after that, the American Central Command reported that 15,000 military personnel, more than 100 aircraft, ships, and drones will take part in the operation. And the goal of the operation is really to restore freedom of navigation for commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. And I should note here that hundreds of cargo ships with thousands of sailors on board have been drifting in the Persian Gulf for 2 months now, unable to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, which has been blocked by Iran. And now experts are confident that the operation Donald Trump ordered could ultimately lead to a new war. The point is that this is still the beginning of a process that could lead to a confrontation with the Iranians. And this, seemingly, is Trump's humanitarian mission to free these parties. It means that if the Iranians do take some action, and they already are, then they end up being the bad guys. And the US once again has the legal right to act. Moreover, Trump doesn't even need to ask Congress for permission. Because, as you know, on the eve of May 1st, he officially ended the war against Iran. Now he can start a new one and conduct it for another 60 days. It is reported that the commander of the U.S. Navy Central Command, Admiral Brad Cooper, presented Trump with an even more ambitious plan on Thursday to send Navy ships through the Strait. But on the other hand, Ibrahim Azizi, the chairman of the National Security Committee of the Iranian parliament, threatened retaliatory measures for Trump's actions. Here is his quote. Attention. Any U.S. interference in the new maritime regime of the Hormuz Strait will be considered a violation of the ceasefire. The Hormuz Strait and the Persian Gulf will not be governed by absurd rules. And finally, on Monday, the Iranian armed forces stated that the aggressive actions of the U.S. only complicate the current situation and will jeopardize the safety of ships in the Persian Gulf. That was a quote. The statement included a call for all commercial ships and tankers to refrain from passing through the strait without coordination with the Iranian military. As a result, it is already known that the Iranians have attacked at least 22 commercial vessels, one from the United Arab Emirates, which is an oil tanker, and another tanker reported by the British. In addition, it is known that they attacked one American warship, and at least 4 missiles have already been launched at the United Arab Emirates. And here is what one of the White House officials said about Trump's plan, quote, "Either we will soon see the real outlines of an achievable deal, or he will lose it, completely destroy it." I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments under this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. If you want to support the work of this YouTube channel, you can do so with any donation or a paid membership using the links and details in the description of this video. That's it for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.